As you can see, Deacon Frank's back with us. His break from school, so it's a blessing for the community and for me personally, just with Triduum and the liturgies coming up. Deacon Frank's really good with liturgy, so there's like a calm and peace that comes over me when Deacon Frank arrives to help out. And just keep him in your prayers as too. He's how many weeks away? 6, 7 weeks before he becomes a priest. So we'll keeping him in our prayers. And I gave him the option: do you want to preach this morning or tomorrow morning? He chose tomorrow morning. So we have similar readings you'll hear today and then tomorrow. Today's John's account, tomorrow Matthew, and we have today Jesus foretelling of the two denials that's going to happen, or one, Peter's denial 3 times and Judas's betrayal. And both of them are accompanied with being mournful about it, right? We know Peter leaves after the cock crowed the 3rd time, realizes what happened, and he leaves and weeps bitterly of his denial of Jesus. Judas, we heard this past weekend in Matthew's account, is he returns the money and he throws it, and he literally says, "I have sinned against innocent blood," and he runs out. If you have a Magnificat, if you read the reflection meditation today it's from Thomas à Kempis, and he's the one who wrote the Imitation of Christ. Those that are doing the Hallow meditation, it says the distinction between Peter's mourn and Judas's mourn of their sin, both being sins, the denial, the betrayal. And it says Peter did not fall into the deep pit of despair as did the unfortunate Judas. But Peter, he trusted in your continuing abundant mercy, which he had often experienced, Peter being this kind of hot-headed personality. See, Peter had the remorse for his sin, as did Judas, but Judas was led to despair. We know what Judas went off and did. He left and he hung himself. Pope Benedict, making the distinction more between Peter and Judas, said that Peter's tears included a glimpse of hope. Why was that? Well, remember when the cock crowed the three times, what does Luke's gospel point out? Is that Peter and Jesus' eyes locked. As soon as he realized what he had done, Jesus looked at him. Their eyes locked. He left bitterly, but he had a glimpse of hope that I can start over. Jesus' mercy. And so as you think about the distinction between Judas and Peter, and even John's gospel, or even in John today, John the apostle is leaning against Jesus' chest, the closeness there, Peter's gaze with Jesus. The distinction of not falling into despair is we're all going to fall. We all have fallen. We're all going to continue to fall and sin and have the mourn for what we've done. Are we going to be close? Are we close enough to lock eyes with Jesus, his gaze, or be like John and lie against Jesus' chest, so that we don't fall into the pit of despair? Where does Satan win? Where do we fall into despair? Is when we don't lock eyes with him. Satan wants us he wants to keep us buried in the shame of sin. So long as we stay buried in the shame of sin, then we don't turn back to him in the remorse like Peter did. And so, as I shared the image this past weekend of the card of Jesus entering into the darkness. The question I'm asking myself these days of praying with that card is, as I look in the bottom right-hand corner, is there hope there when we look there? Or the question I posted on the Hallow app this morning, what do I see when I look in that bottom right-hand corner? Can my eyes lock with the gaze of Christ in the bottom right-hand corner? Is ultimately the question. Because he's there, and that's what Peter was able to do in the remorse of his sin, not entering in the shame and the pit of despair, as Thomas à Kempis talks about. But my eyes can actually lock into the gaze of Christ in the bottom right-hand corner. Let that be our goal. Let that, like, Jesus, help me to see your gaze in the bottom right corner.